Blog Talk Radio.
Magical vibrations from the Tarot Guild and Rainbow Psychics. Thank you for tuning in to Cosmic Coffee with Kooch. I'm your host, and my goal is to stir up a tasty soul brew of esoteria, especially for you. I'm also very happy to announce that Dax Carlisle, president of the Tarot Guild and fearless leader of the Rainbow Psychics, creative wizard, magician, tarot master, is going to be my co-host. Every Wednesday at 1 p.m. California time, I'll be exploring topics to inspire the mystically minded. If you have questions, you can email them to our chat room or call 347-637-3372. Today, the sun is sitting in the constellation Libra, and the moon is almost full in Aries. And when it's full, we're also going to be having a lunar eclipse. The time between this lunar eclipse, this coming Friday, and the solar eclipse on November 3rd is a very potent time to set your intentions. By the time of the winter solstice, whatever seeds that you're planting during this auspicious time is going to be starting to sprout, and you'll see new beginnings in the new year. Today, I'm visualizing an amazing show. We have a very special guest who lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. She's an occultist, author of numerous books, and well, let's see. I'll start going through my list of goodies that she's done. She's written 21 templates that run your world, keys to unlocking your success in business, love and money, and she's created the ultimate oracle deck and setting up your psychic practice. So her name is Sue Wilhite. Hi, Sue. Oh, my gosh, I didn't even, where is she? She's coming on because I muted her. Hi, Sue, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
There's just these little details every once in a while, like pressing buttons and keeping everything in order. But I'm so glad you're here with us today.
Oh, I'm delighted. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm thrilled.
What are you up to? I know you're up to so much. But what's most forefront on your radar screen right now?
Well, the biggest thing is that I've just joined the Rainbow Psychics group, and I'm going to be doing online readings, video readings for the first time with that. So I'm very excited about getting started with that. I am creating a series of articles that I'm going to start posting on my website called Advice from a Psychic. And I already have 2 articles that I've written for that. One is called Help, I Thought We Were Soulmates. And the other is a technique that I use to help people get over obsessive thoughts, usually about a relationship that's gone bad, but sometimes about other things like work or other kinds of thoughts like that. I call it the untriggering technique. And I've written a paper about that.
That sounds awesome. Is there any chance you can give us a little sample of that technique? Because I know I sure would like that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. It's really, it's sort of based on some of the NLP training that I did, but it's also just based on the way that the brain works. So the example that I use in the paper is, let's say that you've had of course, Kooch, you haven't, definitely. You're still very much involved with your beloved. But let's pretend that you've got a client who has just had a terrible breakup, and they can't stop thinking about the other person. And let's say that the person that they're thinking of, we'll just pull a name out of the hat here. We'll call him Fox. I just looked over to my bookshelf, and there's a name, Fox. We'll call him Fox. And, when you're in a relationship, what often happens is that you're thinking of the beloved all of the time, right?
Yeah, it's kind of obsessed.
You think of their, the name is there. You're thinking about them. What are they doing right now? Everything is very focused on the other. And so you're always thinking Fox, 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 or whatever their name is. Well, what needs to happen is you need, and if the relationship has gone south, the thought of Fox no longer brings pleasure, it brings pain, right? It's extremely distressing. And so what you want to do is you want to lessen that pain response. And so what you do, and this is the first step is the hardest one always, and that is to simply notice whenever you're thinking the name. So whenever you're thinking, oh, Fox, oh, I wish it hadn't happened, oh, Fox, so you notice you're in that sort of painful thought, you just stop, and you think about something completely neutral. And this is the really, really, really important part, that it has to be something that has no emotional load, no associations to it whatsoever. And I like to suggest things like door hinge. Do you have any positive or negative associations with a door hinge?
Oh, if I took a couple minutes, I could probably come up with an association with a door hinge, like trying to jam open a door that's falling over, maybe.
Yeah, but for the most part, most people don't have something that's really triggered by a door hinge. It's pretty neutral. Or think of the back of a bookcase.
Yeah, that's pretty neutral.
That's pretty neutral. There's nothing that really calls up anything. It's just kind of there. So as soon as you notice that you're thinking about whatever it is, in this case Fox, you just sort of go, oh, okay, back of the bookcase. It's brown, it's made of wood, there might be staples or nails in it, and it's got kind of a rough feel because they very seldom finish the back of the bookcase. And so you just sort of train your mind into focusing on that neutral thought and all of the sensory sorts of things about that. And then you move to something positive. So you think about your favorite flower. You think about a sunrise or a sunset. You think about something that has a very positive association, preferably not reminding you of Fox, but moving to that positive association. And the reason that this works is because you're going from a negative to a neutral to a positive.
That's a really good balance. I mean, I immediately think of the Libra scale of balance with the negative on one side and the positive on the other, and it's kind of like weighing back and forth.
Right.
With the neutral pole in the middle.
There's the fulcrum in the middle, right? And you have to go through that for your brain to actually make the switch. If you try to go from something negative to something positive, your brain is going to resist. So what ends up happening, most people try to go, oh, I'm thinking about Fox, oh, I'm going to think about something good, and there's this horrible struggle that goes on. But if you can move from the negative association and the the horrible feelings that are going on with that, if you move to the neutral association, your brain has a much easier time just sort of going, oh, okay, yeah, I can just kind of relax now and just think about something neutral and nothing happens, and then move to the positive. And you're just moving your associations away from that person. And in about a week, sometimes less, but usually by the end of the 7th day, the obsession is over.
Well, I'm going to send that to a friend of mine who is going through a breakup, and they keep crying all the time, which is really difficult, and going, I don't have anything to live for anymore. I just want to die. So I'm going to tell the person about your technique, and maybe it will do some good. And I'm hoping when there's like that floodgate of intense emotions, getting a person to be stable enough to go into a neutral space and think about something like the back of a bookshelf might be a little tricky, but it sounds great. And I mean, I really get it. I really see how the potential for healing is there, because it's like step 1, step 2, step 3.
Yes, and that's exactly it. Kooch, after the show, I will email you the paper, and you can send that to your friend. It details everything. It details why it works. And there's one important thing that I want to say about this technique. One of the things that people get into is they feel that if they've suffered an emotional pain, that somehow they have to keep on suffering. There's this sort of cultural hypnosis that's going on that you have to suffer for a month or a year or something like that. And yes, emotional things can take a little bit of time to heal, and I don't want to say that, you have to turn it off. Grief and mourning are very, very real responses to an emotional problem, like a breakup or something like that. However, the body, which, contains the emotions, is really good at healing pain. We've got all kinds of systems for healing pain. And so to hold on to pain feeling like, oh, it's too soon, I shouldn't feel better already, is like if you had injured yourself and you go ahead and re-injure yourself because you're healing too quickly.
Oh, I love the analogy.
Right? I mean, nobody would go back and re-break their leg if they felt.
I know. I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's just like a broken heart, a broken leg.
Yes.
They could be similar. I mean, broken legs take about 6 weeks. Well, it depends on how young you are, but they can take like six weeks. They can take 2 months to heal. But then the body really is miraculous in healing broken things. So why shouldn't it be able to heal a broken heart? I think it's awesome.
Yes, yes. And the untriggering technique helps with that process. So you're not reopening the wound, which is what those obsessive thoughts are doing. You're allowing the wound to heal.
So we've got a couple people wanting to ask you questions, so I'm going to bring on someone to see what they have in store for you. Hi, area code 951. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah. I was really just listening in. I don't think I have any questions, but I guess.
Well, now's your opportunity if you do, but I'll let you off the hook easily and just say thanks for tuning in.
Okay, thank you.
And then, okay, so we have, we're back to the three of us because somebody just jumped off. I think they got cold feet that I was going to ask them something. It's like, no, I'm afraid to ask.
It's okay. We're not dangerous.
We're not dangerous. We're gentle. We may love to throw, but that's a good thing.
Kooch, can I interject something here?
Please, Dax, please.
Oh, okay. So on the switchboard, in fact, you'll see right next to Sue's name, there's a little blue circle with a question mark.
That means pick up the phone, and if it's not there, I'm not supposed to try to have them
Exactly, because we have a lot of people that call in and just listen to the show, and we don't want to frighten them away. So you can call in at 347-637-3372 and just listen to the show. When the lady comes on and prompts you to press the number 1 on your keypad, just don't do anything, and that way we know that you're just listening. If you want to chat with us, ask Sue a question, press the number 1. That's 347-637-3372.
This is why I can't live without Dax. He's got it down. I am like someone who like, oh, there's a question person, but I see the little light and I go, oh, it's a question, but yes, it's a little blue question mark, and I've got it now, Dax.
Well,
I
after
will be
700
clear about
shows,
it.
you get this. You get it figured out after 700 shows.
I have like a few hundred more to go then, I guess. But Sue, what you're talking about, I just feel it's a great technique, and I really want to pass it on because it sounds really, it has a lot of potential to help people. It's awesome.
Yes, I give it to my clients fairly frequently.
And you get good, do they tell you they get good results with that?
Yes. I get emails, I get calls. People come back and say, yes, it absolutely worked. And I end up teaching this, at least 2 or 3 times a month to people, which is why I decided to write the paper. So I could just email it to somebody. I can explain it, but then give them the email as a follow-up for them to do it.
So you said it's on your blog right now?
I don't right now. I am in the final edits of it to make sure that it is in good shape and everything is spelled right. And it will be up on my website very, very shortly here. I'm hoping definitely before Halloween.
Can you tell everybody your website like I say, so they know how to find you?
Yes, I would love to do that. My website is www.positivelysuccess.com. And let me spell that for you because I, 17 years ago, picked the top two misspelled words in the English language, not on purpose, as my company name. So it's P as in Peter, OSITIVELY SUCCESS.com. See, I can't even spell it sometimes. So it's positivelysuccess.com.
Mm-hmm.
And on it, we can find
way,
you, and we can find more information about the books that you've written. Yes,
there is a whole page there called Books and Decks, and it is it's got a list of all of the wonderful projects that I've already put out into the world.
Well, I'm there right now, and the first thing I see is 21 templates that run your world.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little insight into what that's about?
Sure. A number of years ago, I was training with James Wanless, who created the Voyager Tarot, which is the deck that I use in my practice. And one of the things that he said was that he was starting a master's program, and people who made a contribution to the study or the knowledge about tarot could sort of earn a master's rank from him. And I thought, oh, well, I'll never do that. That's, more than I'm into. And then a little while later, I was starting to write about these personalities that came into me. It was an exercise just sort of trying to get inside the major arcana of the tarot. And I started writing about each card as though it was a personality, as though it was a person. And I did about 10 of them in my first batch, and then I did about, 5 or 6 more, and I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. And I showed it to James, and he said, oh, this could be your master's project. Go for it. Took me about 7 years. It was a really good master's project. It was work. And I did these templates, and I use the technique that people use to get their life card as a way of looking at as a personality. And this is really fascinating. So what you do is you take your month and day and year of birth. So let's pretend that it's today, which is October. So October is 10, and today is the 16th, and it's the year 2013. So you use all 4 digits, and you add all of those numbers up just as though you're doing a math problem. So you add 10 plus 16 plus 2013, and you end up with 2039 as your sum in there. And then what you do is you add the 2 plus the 0 plus the 3 plus the 9 of that answer. It's called the sum of the digits. And what you end up with when you add those numbers together is you end up with 14. And 14 in the Tarot, in the major arcana, is the judgment, not the judgment card, sorry, it's the temperance card. And that is a personality type. It would be someone who's born today would be somebody who tends to exhibit the characteristics of very much creativity, somebody who brings art perhaps out of interesting places that one wouldn't think of. They're creative not only in their art, but what they source their art from. The additional personality that they would have, the secondary template, as I put it, if you add 1 plus 4, you end up with 5, which is the Hierophant, or the Pope. And that is the teacher. This is the great spiritual teacher. This is the one who brings the light out of the darkness, which is why the temperance personality might source their art from someplace interesting. They've gone through the darkness, and they know the way out, and they're carrying the torch to light the way for others. And so there's all of the major arcana are shown as templates, as personality types, and it's really fascinating to do. And I love doing it in groups of people who've never encountered the Tarot and are maybe a little bit skeptical about it. And once I do these birthday sort of analysis and get their template, they're like, wow, yes, that's totally me. And if they have a significant other, the significant other is usually laughing because it is very much them.
Sounds like the birth card pairs that I know a couple people have done books on. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I do it in, I also add chapters, not just in terms of the personality, and this was where the real work came in, was that I've got a chapter about how each one of these templates shows up at work. And within work...
Oh, I love that.
How do they... I'm sorry?
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, and within each work category, it's how do they show up as a manager? How would they show up as an employee? How would they show up if their particular form of work happened to be in sales? And my personal philosophy is I don't care what we're doing, we're all in sales one way or another. And how they show up as a customer, because we're all customers. Mm-hmm. So let's say that this personality type, we have the art person who is also the Hierophant. They could make a really good teacher. They could even teach art. The temperance card in the Voyager deck is called art, so I have to remember to translate between temperance and art. They could teach art. They could be an artist. They would need to be in some kind of a creative position. They would need to have some way of expressing their creativity. They could be in marketing. They could be in the art department of an advertising firm. But they'd want to be teaching something. They'd want to be getting something across with their art. There'd be a message to it. So they would be perhaps really good in maybe the nonprofit sector in using their creativity to deliver a message.
Wow.
Sounds right on to me.
Awesome stuff, huh? Hey,
Yeah.
can we go back
And
to,
then I have a
can we go back to
chapter about
something?
relationships, and then I have a chapter about how they would handle money. So it's giving a very in-depth look at each one of the templates and how they show up in different areas.
Well, you know, there's been other books done on birth cards, but it doesn't sound like as in-depth as this and in directions that other people have not taken, you know, birth cards before.
Yeah. Yeah. What I like to do is I like to be practical.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to work for people in their everyday life. And part of the reason for this book was to actually bring it into the workplace. Because in my own career, I would see people whose personalities were just totally in conflict. And it was partially because they were in the wrong job, but partially because, you know, let's say that you've got somebody who is very creative, very bubbly and outgoing. They, you know, they're really into communicating, and they end up with, say, a priestess, a high priestess as their boss, who's like, just give me the reports. I already know what's going on. Don't try to tell me anything. That would create some conflict.
Yeah, I can see that. And it's so great to have practical things because, you know, we've talked about it many times on the radio show, you know, for me personally, how the whole fortune-telling dynamic doesn't work for me because, you know, just telling somebody their future is not really empowering them in any way. But if you can tell them the trajectory they're on right now, the potential outcomes that they're heading towards, but then also give them practical advice like this.
Right, right. Yeah, I call it the inertial effect. You know, if they're already going, they've already set this giant boulder in motion. They've already taken action that has started to move this boulder in this particular way. If they do nothing, inertia is just going to continue it forward. However, you know, you could put a little pebble in the way, and it could divert the boulder in a completely different way. But you need to take the action to put that pebble in the way to divert the boulder.
Exactly, exactly. And, you know, I start off by telling my clients, you know, I don't believe in fate. I mean, I have certain concepts about fate that I do actually believe in, but it's really too complicated to go into. Basically, I think that there's many potential outcomes, and when we do a reading, we can only do a reading in the now. You know, the only place we ever are is the now. Eckhart Tolle would love me.
Exactly.
Yeah, Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, you know, we're right here in the now.
You're preaching to the choir here, but
yeah, but I'm just saying this for the people listening in the audience. Perhaps some people that have never had a reading before or are wondering about readings. And, you know, I tell them that it's not set in stone. So I'm doing this reading with you right now in the now, and we're looking at the past and the trajectory from the past into this current moment and the momentum into the future. And it'll lead to certain potential outcomes for sure. But then you can decide if you want to go there or not. You can make decisions moving forward that is like that little pebble that diverts the boulder.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And see, I think that's the real power of tarot. What's your thoughts on that?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. You know, I counsel my clients all the time. They try to say, well, is this going to happen? It's like, well, that's up to you. You know, you need to take the action. You need to figure out what it is. If you don't want this to happen, then don't. do something to take a different trajectory. But, and here are some tools, part of my day is working in a bookstore. And one of the things that I do is... Are you still working at East West in Mountain View? I am. I'm still working in East West in Mountain View in the Silicon Valley. And, it's a host of resources. So I try to tell my clients, try this book. I have some of my favorites that I offer. And then new ones, of course, are coming out all the time. But I try to say, look, here are some other tools for you. It's not that you made mistakes. It may be that you just didn't know. So here is things for you to learn, and you'll make your life so much better.
I love it. I'm going to interrupt because we have a person who wants to ask you a question. Dax, I'm seeing the little blue question mark in front of
awesome.
in front of their number. So I'm going to bring on area code 832. Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, hello? You have to believe. Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello. Hi. You're live on air. What's your name?
Oh, my name's Nitu. I'm calling from Texas. How are y'all?
We're great. Do you have a question for Sue?
Well, does that be like a specific question, or is it kind of like a reading?
Well, you called in, and it looks like you wanted to say hello or something because you hit the number 1, which meant we're going to bring you on. So what would you like to ask?
Okay, well, are y'all doing readings?
Sue, do you do impromptu readings?
I can pull a single card for to answer a question. Sure.
Just around the area of romance.
On romance, okay. We're going to pick a card, and the card is, and this is from the Voyager deck, which has some cards that are slightly different from the Rider-Waite deck that is more common. But the card is the Woman of Crystals, which is roughly equivalent to the Queen of Swords. Not quite, but roughly equivalent. And it's the Guardian. And what she is she's the guardian of the mind. And what this is saying that in the terms of romance, you don't want to, it's like you don't want to reveal quite too much in the situation. You want to sort of keep your own counsel and pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to what you're thinking. Don't allow, I am a big fan of emotion and following your heart, but just notice what your heart is trying to get you to do and why is it trying to get you to go there. Just do a little bit more analysis on what the emotion is.
Okay. All righty then. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. Talk about impromptu there,
But I loved hearing your reading, Sue. That's great, and it's really good to just see how other people read cards and how they work. That was really excellent.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Sue,
yes.
Oh, I don't mean to break in, but I've been trying for like about 20 minutes to get to this question.
You're on, Dax. You're on.
I can't seem to get this question in edgewise here, because I want to go all the way back. I wanted to ask you this right after we were talking about the name of your business, because I want to know what positively success means to you.
Yes. Well, first of all, yes, it is grammatically incorrect. I'm one of these guardians of the English language. And I was the one that came up with positively success. So I fully admit that positively success is not grammatically correct. But what it means is there's a couple of levels. In order to be successful, in order to enjoy any kind of success, and I do mean enjoy in this, in order to enjoy any kind of success, one must be positive. That's the only way to be. there's having critical thinking, but that's not about being negative. There's a wonderful book. Here I go. There's a wonderful book called Six Thinking Hats, and it talks about the way that you do critical thinking, in which there are 6 ways of thinking about a particular problem, and one of them is positive, one of them is negative, one of them is emotional, one of them is just the facts, ma'am, and so on. And that's what you want to do in order to be successful. But overwhelmingly, there must be a positive feeling. You just cannot be successful if you're down in the dumps, if you're not being positive, if you're dwelling in the negative. It's just impossible. And my job is to make success a positive experience, to make my clients come to me, be successful in as positive a manner as they possibly can.
Oh, that's wonderful. And also, I like how you obviously have this, gosh, I don't know how to put it, but wow, I don't even know how to say it. But it's like you're looking out for the success of your clients. In other words, a lot of readers, they just answer the questions that are put to them, and they have no vested
Right.
interest in the success of the client.
Right. Well, some of that comes from my previous life as a consultant. I did database design, systems analysis, and programming for 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's a joke in the computer world when one is designing specs that the customer will come back to you and say, well, it's just what I asked for, but it's not what I want. And so it was my job as a consultant to figure out what they really wanted so that could be built into the specs. And so, and that was where my intuition really came in. Working in that very, very left brain job, I used my right brain a lot. It was like, oh yeah, well, it feels like you kind of want to do something different over here. You're not sounding as confident here. Maybe it would be better if you did it this way. And I'd always get very positive responses from that. Mm-hmm. So looking out for my clients is sort of ingrained in me.
And it's interesting because a lot of people just come with a vague, oh gosh, they have like a concept, but they really don't know what they want. Right.
And the little class that we're going to be doing next Thursday, mm-hmm. Little plug, the Assets and Liabilities Spread, part of what that is it's pointing out to people what their gifts are so that they have more of a clue, mm-hmm. A direction to go in. And one of the things that I love pointing out when we do this spread, and there's, 3 wonderful gifts that are sitting there in front of these people, and they look at me and they go, well, doesn't everybody do this? And I go, no, dear, that's you. This is your unique gift. This is why it's a gift, is because it's so off the cuff for you. It's so easy for you, and nobody else does this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the most wonderful things. I just love it when I can share that.
Well, that's why I do numerology. In fact, I do a whole numerological analysis and talk to the client about that before I even get into the reading, because so many so much great information about people's, strengths and weaknesses and destiny and potential, all pop up, and that sometimes drives the direction of the questioning during the reading after the numerology. So it's kind of along the same way. So we're going to be teaching that next Thursday, and we're doing it at 8:30 in the morning. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting up that early. 8:30 I usually don't get up till 11. Right before the radio show, and then I'm up till like. Yeah, well, see, I'm up working till like 3 o'clock in the morning every night because I do my best work late at night, and you know, for years I fought against it, you know, because it was like, well, yeah, but you know, you're supposed to wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning, and you're supposed to start your day. Bull crap, you know. It's like if you do your best work at 3 a.m.
That's you.
Yeah, each person's different, and so if you do your best work at 2 or 3 in the morning, do it, and then you go to sleep. You sleep 8 hours, and when you wake up is when you wake up. You know, not you know, I just get up in time to do my radio shows. But I'm just gonna have to plan on Wednesday night, even though I usually do karaoke till like 2 in the morning on Wednesdays. I'll go home early and get up, and we're going to be teaching that, or rather, you're going to be teaching, and I'm going to be listening to that Assets and Liabilities Spread. And it's going to be 8:30 a.m. Now, that's Pacific time. So that's 9, 10, 11. That's 11:30 a.m. on the East Coast. So if you can join us, you know, we're going to be doing it for our members. And by the way, if you're not a member yet, we've got this great membership special going on. It's in honor of the launch of our brand new tarotguild.org website. And if you go over to tarotguild.org/special, you can grab our membership for like less than 50% of what it normally costs. It's a great sale. So we also have a monthly available as well, but the annual special that we're running right now is just phenomenal. So pop over to tarotguild.org/special, and we'll make sure that you get into Sue's class. We're also doing a class on cartomancy in the evening, and it's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern, with John Allen teaching us his cartomancy techniques tomorrow night. So if you're not a member yet and you join, I will make sure I get you into that class. Just a little plug for our class tomorrow too, Sue.
Well, that's perfect. You know, that's one of the great things about the Tarot Guild is all of those wonderful classes.
Oh, you know, there's something else I wanted to ask you about, because you've been doing this for so long, and now you've jumped into the video reading arena. You're doing video readings on our Live Psychics page, and I wanted to ask you about, you know, your experience with that. What do you think about doing it this way? Because it's different.
It is different. It's a little bit harder for me right now because I'm used to being able to see the client, and so it's a little bit weird to see me and not the client on the screen. It's like, no, that's not who I want to be looking at. I want to see the client. I want to look at the client's eyes. And so it's a little bit different. But so far, so good. So far, it's been a positive experience, and I do have to get my left brain completely out of it and really, really concentrate on not what the screen is showing me, not what anything else is going on. I just have to really establish a connection, a very deep connection with the client, excuse me, you know, through this interesting medium that we've got here.
Well, the neat thing, though, is that they're seeing you, and so it's almost like they're in the room with you. It's almost like they're live with you, which is wonderful. That means that we can do, you know, a virtual in-person reading, but the client could be anywhere in the world. Right.
And the thing that I really enjoy about this, and it was actually something I got frustrated doing phone readings, because I go, oh, here's this great card. I wish you could see it. You know, it's the 10 of Cups, and it's got all of this wonderful imagery on it. It's got golds and oranges and reds, and I can describe it, but they can't see it on the phone. And that was just taking up time, my describing the card. And I felt like I was wasting their time trying to get across these things. And in this way, I could just hold the card up to the camera and say, here's this card. Isn't this gorgeous? You can see this. And they can. So they get a feeling for it.
Absolutely. And then the other neat thing that I like about our system over at rainbowpsychics.com, and in fact, if you're listening live or in archive, you can go check this out, rainbowpsychics.com/live psychics. That's our page with the live video psychics. And you can click on any of their images. It'll take you over to their free chat room. And that's what I like about it is for free, you can go in and chat with as many of the psychics as you want, and you can see which ones you click, have a connection with before you decide to take them into private for a reading.
Right. Right.
So
and the client is very much in control of the reading. So that's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, I think that's terrific. And it's so much different from how things were up to this point. And actually, most websites still don't have video. We're one of the few that do. And
right.
the free chat room concept, most of the time you go to a website, and even if they do have video, which they rarely do, mostly it's telephone or chat, you're just seeing static pictures of people and little blurbs about them, and you have to, pick a psychic, and you're just taking your chances. Whereas with this system, yeah. But with this system, you get to see them and hear them and get to know their personality even a little bit, and you can ask them questions. How do you do your readings, and how would you do this, and how do you do that, and you can figure out how they work. The psychic can describe how they work with clients. Like how I work with a client.
I think that's a really good question for Sue. Let's ask Sue that question. It's like, Sue, how do you work with your clients?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Typically, sometimes I don't begin this way, but typically I begin by asking the client what it is that they want to talk about, if they can sum it up in one word. So if they can just tell me, it's a romance question like that earlier caller did. Is it a career question? Is it, spiritual path? Or do they just kind of want to know what the universe wants them to know, which is my favorite kind of question. And then I'll tune in for a moment on the question and on the client and just see what comes up. And then, depending on the kind of reading, I'll start pulling cards. And different questions, I have different spreads for different questions. I have a specific relationship spread. For career spreads, I typically do the Assets and Liabilities Spread, because regardless of what career they may be in physically right now, maybe there's a different one that they want to take a look at based on their gifts and abilities. Or maybe they're already in the career, but one of the things that spread shows is the liabilities, the things that are getting in their way, that are blocking them. And so if we can clear that up, they'd be more successful. I also have a new spread that my numerologist friend and I came up with. Dax, you'd be fascinated by this one, I'm sure. It's called the Foundation Spread. And according to Michael Bisbiglia, my numerologist business partner, he said that there are 3 numbers that he looks at, and they're the foundational numbers. And one of them is the heart's desire, one of them is the lesson, and the third, excuse me, the third one is the environment in which all of this is playing out. And sometimes what I'll do is I will pick 3 cards for those particular aspects and just see how it shows up for that particular situation. So it can be, if they're in a romance, if it's a romance question, I can do this foundational thing, their heart's desire, the lesson, and the environment will tell me what's going on in the relationship. And I'll do this if I only have like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. This is a great spread I've found to do at parties where, Halloween parties or Christmas parties or birthday parties where you've got, a dozen or more clients and you've only got a limited amount of time and you need to do a good job reading for everybody, but you've got a very short amount of time. Doing this 3-card reading is awesome.
Absolutely. That's what I like to do myself. I like 3-card readings. And on the air, when I'm doing little mini readings, people call in on the Friday show, Rowdy Readers, or the Monday show, Angels Monday. I always pull 5 cards. And
oh, wow.
I use a computer program. So I push one button and it shuffles and pops the cards up there. It makes it super fast. And the reason for the 5 cards is I'm simultaneously doing a 5-card yes/no spread, and also having 5 cards to pull information from as well at the same time.
Right. Right. Cool.
Kooch,
you're quiet out there.
Oh,
Come chat with us.
I was wondering more about what you wanted to tune in. I know you had a lot of questions you wanted to ask Sue, so I was just kind of like seeing where you were going to go with your questions.
Well, I was just really excited because, in addition to everything that, Sue has obviously done, and the teaching and the presentations and authoring and, decks and books, we haven't even talked about the Ultimate Oracle. And that's the next question. That's the next question. But, that she's come on board at rainbowpsychics.com, that's very exciting to have somebody that's that, advanced, joining us over here and doing the video readings and everything like that. So it's a beautiful plug for our psychics as well.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I really like about this is the quality of the psychics that we've got up there. I mean, being on the Facebook pages with them, I mean, they're just awesome people. They're just fabulous. We've got to do a Rainbow Psychics reunion, Dax. We've got to do something where we all get together and have a party.
I know. The other really cool thing for me is that, doing the guild and everything up to the point before we started Rainbow Psychics, I always wanted to help professionals become more successful. Like a lot of times they were really fantastic readers, been doing it for 40 years, but didn't have a clue how to use Skype or how to get online or how to promote their business. So that's what we were doing up to this point. But with rainbowpsychics.com, with the platform, now we're able to give them something, a platform where they can go on and also, become highly successful. Actually, have the platform to do it on. And what I'm finding the most important thing for people to realize out there that, at the time of doing this show, we're really still in the very beginning, very, very beginning stages. We only have, a few super active psychics on the website. And actually, we want to keep that number down, really, because it's not quantity, it's quality. And but this is the thing, we built our Live Psychics page in partnership with Aranum. So all of our psychics are simultaneously on our Live Psychics page on rainbowpsychics.com and on Aranum at the same time. And the average full-time psychic on Aranum is making $6,000 to $8,000 a month. That's somebody that's been doing this for 6 months to a year, has established their clientele, and when I say full-time, I mean, they don't have a muggle job. This is their job. This is what they do full-time, and they're making a killing. Well, our psychics that have been joining this system have only just started out, like yourself and several other people that are joining us right now. But one of our psychics who, has only been doing this for a short amount of time, is already up to $3,200 a month that they're making on the website.
Right.
And I'm not going to embarrass them by saying their name. But another one of our psychics who's been joining us on our Friday Rally Reader show as a co-host, and that's Ambika Devi, and on Facebook she's Amy Ford. You guys probably know her as Amy Ford on Facebook. And already she's catching up with our top psychic already. And she's been on less. She's only been on for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so I am so excited about this. And Irene Crewell is in the chat room, and she had to go away for a while, but she's coming back now too. It's so exciting. I'm having such a great time with this. And you can join us too if you're listening and you're, a psychic out there or a reader, and you've always wanted to take your business to the next level. Well, you can do it at Rainbow Psychics. Just go to rainbowpsychics.com/join our psychics, or if you're on the rainbowpsychics.com website at the top, you'll see a button, Join Our Psychics, and go check out the possibilities, and join Sue and Irene and Savon and Ambika and all these fabulous people that are doing so well on this platform. So we haven't even talked.
Can I?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, can I make a plug?
Oh yeah, make a plug.
So, make a plug. So, if you are a beginning psychic and you are, you're trying to figure out what to do, or you've done readings for friends and family, and you want to set up a business as a psychic, Michael Bisbiglia, who I mentioned earlier, my business partner, he and I sat down and combined our 50-odd years of experience in being professional psychics, and we wrote a book called Setting Up Your Psychic Practice. Learn how to become the best psychic practitioner you can be. And it's not just about doing the readings, it's everything else. Awesome. And there's an ebook, and if you go to my website, which is positivelysuccess.com, and you click on the Books and Decks page, you'll see 21 Templates Run Your World is the first one, and then underneath that is the Setting Up Your Psychic Practice is the other one. So what I've done is I've created $2 off coupons for the ebook versions, the electronic versions of 21 Templates and Setting Up Your Psychic Practice, and they're 2 different coupons. So I just want to mention them. So for 21 Templates, when you order the book from Smashwords, which is my major ebook distributor, the coupon code is C as in cat, B as in boy, 58X as in xylophone. So CB58X, and that will give you the book for $5.97, which is $5 off the book price and $2 off of the ebook price. And then and then Setting Up Your Psychic Practice, the ebook, the code is Q as in Queen, A as in Ant, 94 M as in Mary. And that gives you...
That's for the
Setting Up Your
Psychic
Psychic
one?
Practice. Yes, and that's $2 off.
Okay, let me make sure, because people listening in archive, sometimes will miss some of this. So let's give these out again. And go ahead and give out the 21 templates again.
21 templates, hold on, is C as in cat, B as in boy, 58X as in xylophone.
Alrighty. And Setting Up Your Psychic Practice, Q as in Queen, A as in Apple, 94, M as in Mary. And by the way, I'm gonna post all this and links right to your Books and Decks page and everything on the page
Perfect.
that we have for you. It's in our blog post at rainbowpsychics.com. You can also get to it quickly. So, if you can't remember all this stuff, folks, just go over to rainbowpsychics.com/Sue Wilhite, or just go to rainbowpsychics.com and click on our blog post. It's probably the first or second or third blog post. You'll see it right there. Sue being on the Cosmic Coffee with Kooch. And I'll post all this along with the player so you can listen to the show all over again.
Yeah,
I love the
great.
show. It's kind of coming to the top of the hour, and I need to make a little promo announcement too. So I'm going to just say that next week on Wednesday, we're going to have Marcia McCord joining us. She's published 4 Tarot decks and 2 Lemoran decks, and she's so much fun. I just love her dearly. And then on Halloween week, we're going to have, and on Halloween week, we're going to have a Spookorama show, which I'll tell you more later about that. But I am just really happy to hear what you're about, Sue, and that our audience can tap into your creativity and what you've set up to help people. I think it's awesome.
You know what the problem is with Sue? That there is, Sue, the problem with you is there is too much to talk about. You got to come back on the show.
I got to come back. This is fun.
That's right.
I love doing this.
Well, I've got her email. I know how to get a hold of her.
Well, Sue, because you're one of our Rainbow Psychics, we always invite our Rainbow Psychics to be on the Rally Reader shows on Fridays. So if you're free at all on a Friday, same time as this show, we would love to have you be on Rally Readers next week or something. Wouldn't that be great?
I'll see what I can arrange.
So now,
I'll see what I can do.
Kooch, before we let Sue go, we got to ask her about the Ultimate Oracle deck.
Go for it. Are you going to ask her that?
We've got to know. We've got to know. Now, because I mentioned it in all the promos, Ultimate Oracle. We haven't even got to talk about it yet. So just real quickly, there's on that same page that I sent everybody to with this information, there's a link to a fabulous review on Eclectic. And so you can read more about the Ultimate Oracle. But just real quickly, fill us in on the Ultimate Oracle. How did this come about, and what is it exactly?
Well, it is the deck is in black and white. There's no color. There are 22 white cards and 22 black cards, and they serve as opposites for each other. So, for instance, there is a white card that says beginning, and then there's a black card that says ending. There is a white card that says balanced and a black card that says unbalanced. Let's see. Let's find another one. There is a white card that says reality and a black card that says illusion. So this is a deck of opposites. And it came about because after the Bay Area Tarot Symposium 2 years ago, I came back talking about one of the presentations that was talking about the nature of reality and sort of getting into quantum physics. And we started talking about opposites. And it was one of those really interesting situations where Michael and I were talking and we were saying the same words at the same time, and it wasn't just single words, it was like whole sentences. And I recognized a channeling moment when I saw one, so I grabbed my notepad and said, okay, let's start writing these down. And when we finished saying these opposites, we had 22 pairs. And Dax, in numerology, 22 is a significant number. And it's one of the master numbers. And so we decided that a deck. And let's see, that was August 29th, 2011. And this, hey, it could be a deck, turned into, on December 9th of the same year, we were having the packing party of putting the finished decks in the bags and attaching the labels and putting it all together with the guidebook. I call it the fastest deck in the West because it just came through us and kicked our butts until we made it happen.
Wow, it's channeled.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really one of the more, what do they call it, higher state experiences of my life was those 4 months.
And, being a numerologist, I love, the connection with the master number 22, the master builder number, and it makes perfect sense because you built the deck.
Yes. Well, yeah, the deck actually kind of built itself. We thought we were done. We got these 22 pair, and we're like, wow, that was really amazing. Okay, let's go get some coffee because we need to kind of, decompress and kind of, relax after this. And so we went across the street to get coffee and sat down, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, I know what the back of the deck is going to be. We started doodling on napkins. And we came up with the design the same day.
That is fantastic. Yeah, it's such an inspiration, too, for people that, want to create a deck because, I have a deck idea that I've had for a long time, and elements of it, came at different times, but mostly it was very quickly. It was like, oh, yeah, okay, it should be this should be on the back, this is what it should look like, and but
yes.
I actually have to do it still.
Yes, I have a card. I have a card in my tarot bag that I carry around to readings, and it's one of Kimberly Maroney's angel cards. And it says action. And I pull it out and I look at it every so often and go, right, I need to be doing something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you're not doing enough, Sue.
Yeah, not like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I should send you a photo of my current project list of things that, it's like ideas I've had that need to happen.
Well,
Two of them are on the Books and Decks page, under the Coming Soon, the Quantum Oracle deck, which would be the next level, and it says estimated release December 2013. I need to change that because things like coming up live on Rainbow Psychics and doing a few other things have gotten in the way of that. And then I've got a novel called The Quantum Guide to Hunting Demons, which is using tarot as a structure for the novel and for the characters. That's a fun thing. I've worked on that off and on for a couple of years, and that needs to get finished. And then I have 9 or 10 other things.
9 or 10, not that many.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I tell people that I have to live to 150 in order to get all of this done.
Yeah, just to get it all done, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, they say if you have plans for the future, chances are, it gives you incentive to keep going.
Yes, exactly.
And now we're living longer, so who knows, Sue? Maybe at 149 you'll get your list done.
Yeah, well, the way the universe has been giving me things to do, I suspect there'll be things added to the bottom by that point.
Okay, well, put out another 10 years, extend the list, your life another 10 years or so to get to the bottom of the list, or else to be reborn again. More to do, always more to do. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to bring the show to a close because I've got something else scheduled that I need to run off to. Unless Dax, you want to keep talking with Sue, and I can just kind of bow out now.
No, this is great because it leaves more for when we bring Sue back on. In fact, Sue, I'm sure Kooch will have you back on Cosmic Coffee. But like I said, next Friday or the Friday after, we can have you on Rowdy Readers. We'll do little mini readings with people, and I'll ask you, a lot more about setting up your psychic practice, about the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
you know, if I do say so myself, I'm very proud of that book. That's got such a lot of really good information in it.
That's right, and you know, it fits in perfectly with everything we're doing, trying to help psychics, you know, take their business to the next level with Rainbow Psychics and the Tarot Guild. And so, you know, I really want to promote your book, and it's wonderful that you're giving us a little, you know, special there with the checkout codes. That let me just double check, make sure I have this right in my head. It's $5 off.
It's $2 off.
Or $2. I'm sorry, $2 off. See, I knew that's why I needed to ask.
It's $2 off each of the books, and you have to get them on. You'll see it on the summary on my website that you get them from Smashwords. Smashwords is what's allowing me to do the coupons. I've got other places that you can get them. You can get the ebooks. They're on Barnes & Noble. They're on Amazon and everything. But I don't have coupon control over them. I only have coupons available through Smashwords.
Not a problem. So I'm going to put all this on the page, rainbowpsychics.com, Sue Wilhite, and it'll be all set up after the show here. And I'm going to put a player so everybody can listen to the show again. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Kooch and Dax. Loved it.
Love you
Alrighty.
guys.
Bye.
And thank you,
Bye,
audience,
Sue.
for joining in. We
Bye,
send
Sue.
you our best wishes for the greatest full moon ever coming up, and we'll tune in to the cosmos through connecting with you. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy twirling.
Yes.
Thank you, Sue, and positively success. Thank you all.
Very much positive success to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
The quest for true spirit. The quest for freedom. The quest for true spirit. The quest for freedom. the quest for freedom.